They'll blow over.
Discovered in woods beside highway to Compiègne in Picardy on the 2nd of December. Practically wild, apparently unable to speak. The height.
5 feet 8 inches.
Eyes.
Normal.
Teeth.
Normal. No, wait. There seems to be an extra tooth here.
Extra large canine. Right half bottom jaw. Somewhat reminiscent of an orangutan.
Oh! Little savage.
Like some of the baser species, he seems to lack a moral sense.
See how his eyes are attracted to the pretty objects.
Like a magpie, to see what he can steal. Now, have a care. The creature has a savage bite. He can't speak, can't think, can't be civilized. Language is what separates us from the beasts.
I once knew a notary of Rouen who kept a wild boy in his cellar. One day, he woke to find the young savage had murdered his groom and run off with all his horses.
I'm sure if I were ever induced to entertain such a young savage in my household, I should be in perpetual anxieties for my valuables, to say nothing of the virtue of my chambermaids.
I have to go.
Already. So soon.
What?
I don't know. See? Look at him.
Well, if he is deaf, that's God's judgment on him. Ex auditu fidem. Faith comes through hearing.
What else can I do? He's in their care.
Da! Da! Say it! Da! Speak, boy! Speak! Da! Say it! Da!
The word's octagon.
What's his name?
Ask him. Like this.
What's he say?
Sure, he says his name is Jean.
Jean.
Give me a big enough school like that, he'd take all the deaf children in Paris. Nothing would please me more.
Perhaps if you saw him, I shall pray.
For money, I hope.
Will you come?
Release him. I told you it's hopeless. Leave us, please.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
Where did you get those keys? Did my mother give them to you?
A lawyer's privilege.
You are very free with this family's property.
Don't worry. Your secrets are safe with me.
I hope so.
This is an old Chinese remedy. Hold him very still. This should draw out the feculent humours from within the ear.
For pity's sake, stop this! Why do you torment this poor wretch? This is barbarous.
We're concerned with practical remedies, Monsieur l'Abbé, not mystical theories.
Monsieur, this child is not sick. He's simply a deaf boy with a natural language of his own. With these, he can express everything. Everything, monsieur.
Bread of life. Joseph? Joseph? I am the... Bread. 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 Joseph. Bread. Here, let me show you. It's all right. It's right. Bread. 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 No. Bread. Bread. No. Bread. Come on. Bread. 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 Yes. Show me, Joseph. Come on now, show me. Show me. Yes. Bread.
Dreadful blow. What do you think? You think I look bloodless? Do I look bloodless?
Spiritual.
Ghostly, you mean? Rouge.
Good morning, Joseph.
See how it catches on.
It's remarkable.
Joseph? What is it, Joseph? 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 Joseph?
Fetch a doctor.
Is it very serious?
I think I better fetch the priest. She will be greatly missed. I trust, Mademoiselle, that I will continue to enjoy the confidence of the family.
Joseph. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Now, you tell me about this house. But, this house, beautiful house. Room, sleep. You'd like to sleep there. What? Sleep? You'd like to live there. Live there. What? You did live there? In the house? Wait. Again, come on.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, the children you are about to see are not freaks or imbeciles. They are as sane and as rational as you or I. They differ from us in one respect only. They are deaf. But this does not mean that they must be lost forever to ignorance and despair. For the deaf have their own language. It is a natural language, and it is their own language. It is the language of sign. Now, do not, I beg you, imagine that by coming here that you have entered the conjurer's tent. There are no tricks or subterfuges. Treat these children as if they were your own. Ask them anything you wish. Well, you may be rather surprised by their answers. This is Philippe. Ask him any question you like, anything at all. I will interpret.
Ask him, what is music?
This is a hard question for a deaf person to answer. our idea of music is necessarily imperfect. I can only say I understand it to be an agreeable sensation created by the sounds of voices and instruments.
Ask him what it is that women most desire. I think we might all know the sign for that one.
What it is that women most desire is love. The loving care of a husband, the loving smile of the child, and the loving protection of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Ask him who is the greatest living man in France today.
Perhaps in order to show that there are no secrets, we will ask the questioner to read out the answer.
Science suggests D'Alembert, philosophy Rousseau, and literature Voltaire. But genius and humanity proclaim the Abbé de l'Épée, and I prefer him to all the others.
You must excuse him this mistake. It is the enthusiasm of gratitude. Well, now that you can see what can be achieved, I would like to introduce you to a young child who has been with us for just over a year. Now, when this boy first arrived, he was little more than a savage. Do you have a question for him? Something simple.
I know that boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you have a question for him? Please do make it simple. Even now, this poor soul is without a proper name or identity.
He has a name. I know this boy.
You are prepared to swear that this boy is the Count of Sola.
Oh, yes. I know him well. I was friendly with his aunt. She's dead now, like his parents, all dead. Poor little soul. I often wondered what became of him.
Is there anyone to your knowledge who could confirm his identity?
There's his sister and his grandfather. He's still alive, I think. But whether they'd know him now. And the servants. Those eyes. It's him, all right. I'd know those eyes anywhere.
What's he staring at? Sit down. Make him sit down.
He's asking, why are you wearing those clothes?
Joseph, sit down. It's the robes. He recognizes the robes. The boy's father was a judge.
You were the young Count's nurse?
Yes.
Can you tell us of any distinguishing mark which might confirm his identity? Have the boy remove his breeches. Come on.
Joseph, stand up.
Don't be afraid. Nobody is going to hurt you.
That's him, sir.
My boy, my dear boy. Come along. Joseph. My grandson. We thought he was dead. We were told he was dead. His mother told us. Died of the smallpox, you know. Near that place where the idiots go to take the waters. But good may it do them. I never drank water in my life. It's him. It's really him. Well?
I don't know.
You don't know? I mean, how don't you know? Do it again. There now. You see? You know him now.
The man on the horse took me away, beat me, starved me.
It appears that the Abbé has friends in Versailles. He has already applied for full recognition for my brother. In the meantime, I beg you to say, a thousand tender things.
Damn it. What?
A thousand tender things to my dear little brother.
The man who took me away on a horse, he was a friend of my mother. He was a close friend of my mother. He beat me. He stole my clothes. He left me to starve.
Sir, you have no right!
The boy's dead! I saw him buried.
It's from Versailles.
It's all right. Everything's all right. Good news. Good news. The claim has been accepted. Joseph is the Count of Solar. With an annual pension of 800 livres.
make a difference.
Not to me. To me, they're all special.
I still remember the first time.
Hmm?
It's the old widow and her two daughters. They're both stone deaf. They seem to be striving to reach out to each other, chattering away on their fingertips. I couldn't believe it. I mean, what were they saying to each other? What could they possibly know of life? They couldn't read. They had no friends. They denied the sacraments. How could they ever possibly know God?
And now this.
Please, please don't let their souls wither in darkness.
What?
That's what she begged.
And they've made an arrest.
Who?
The family lawyer. They've arrested Monsieur Cazot. What's wrong?
Lawyers have a way of twisting the truth. If he's not convicted of this abduction, Joseph could lose everything again. We're going to need all our strength.
I didn't come for flattery.
At least you're here.
I'm not sure I should have come at all.
Help me. If that boy's story is believed, I lose my life. And they say you've already acknowledged him.
Do they? I don't know. I said something, I can't remember what. How should I know who he is? He says he's my brother. Really, he's certainly ugly enough and stupid enough. Everybody seems to think I should know. Quite candidly, I doubt if I could pick my brother out among a tribe of blackamoors.
What is it you want? Anything. I promise.
A man on the gallows can be very free with promises.
You know what you have to say.
Are you offering me your legal opinion? I know what I have to say. I have to tell the truth. Don't I?
You have been summoned to this court to present evidence. Do you swear that that evidence will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Well, Lord, I must protest at this travesty of a sacred oath into a form of absurd prestidigitation more appropriate to a circus ring or a fairground booth than to a court of justice. And I trust, my lord, that you're not going to allow the solemn process of the law to degenerate into the sort of display usually associated with performing chimpanzees.
My lord, as Mr. de Coudray knows, it has been agreed that this witness shall be allowed to give his testimony in sign language. Already denied speech by nature, surely Mr. de Coudray does not intend to deny him justice.
Quite so, Monsieur l'Abbé. And as you also know, Monsieur de Coudray, the witness will submit to cross-examination also in sign language.
Oh, my lord, I fear I lack the manual dexterity to communicate with the witness, and I consider it a matter of some regret that a man's life may depend upon his counsel's skill in pantomime.
The rooms, what were they like? Small rooms for servants. Tiny rooms, eh? Describe to me the grounds. What were they like?
There was a park with a garden. and a gardener to look after it. The garden was full of fruit trees. Apples and pears, and peaches and apricots.
And a general looseness of the bowels.
Who lived in the house with you? My father died when I was a little boy. I lived with my mother and sister. How did you come to leave your home? We rode for several days and nights. First, he was kind to me. Soon, he became angry. He beat me. He made me wear... Wait. What's this? Scarf. Scarf? Mask. He made you wear a mask. Again. Man on a horse took me away. We rode for several days and nights. If we came to an inn, he would lock me up in a tiny room with just a little water to drink. After a few days, we came to a sort of wilderness. It was very cold, and the ground was wet, like a marsh. He stole my clothes and he left me there. My body was covered in bruises. He left me there to starve. Have you seen that man again? Never, till today. But do you see him now?
Monsieur de Coudray, do you wish to question the witness?
I regret, my lord, my repertoire of manual gestures is restricted to a few of the cruder imperatives, which I feel will be beyond even the dignity of this court to display. In addition to what you claim is a birthmark on his left buttock, is there not some other distinguishing feature which might help us to identify the true Count of Solar? A certain physical abnormality common to several members of the Solar family. The matter of an extra tooth.
Yes, sir. Down here, sir, on the right.
And does this boy, who you've just identified as the Count, have such an extra tooth?
Well...
Does he?
No, sir. He does not. But...
Thank you, Dr.
As Mr. de Coudray knows, this boy had an extra tooth which was removed a little over a year ago when it was found to be causing him extreme discomfort.
And will the Abbé be supplying the court with documentary records regarding the removal of this important piece of evidence?
Unfortunately, no such records were kept.
It is indeed unfortunate that the only piece of precise physical evidence upon which a case for identity might be based is missing. The court, I trust, will draw its own conclusions.
He was found in Picardy, poaching, I believe, and brought to us.
Would you remember the exact date?
Well, I have it here. He was discovered on the 2nd of December, 1786, and admitted to the asylum the following day.
You're certain of that, the 2nd?
I'm quite certain. According to my records, I examined him myself on the afternoon of the 3rd.
Thank you. And just when did you become convinced that this boy was your grandson?
As soon as the Abbé told me his story.
Before you'd even seen him?
Yes.
Before you'd had a chance to examine him for yourself?
I didn't need to examine him. I knew, my own flesh and blood. As soon as I heard, I knew it had to be him. Who else could it be?
Mademoiselle de Solar?
Am I right in saying that at first you were happy to acknowledge this unfortunate deaf boy as your brother?
I don't know. I was never sure.
Speak a little louder, if you would.
I don't know. I was never sure.
I have here a letter which you sent to your housekeeper, Madame Chevreau, in which you say, I beg you to say 1,000 tender things to my dear little brother. Do you deny that you called him that? My dear little brother?
I was confused. Grandpa was so happy to think he was alive.
Are you telling me that you wrote these words? I beg you to say 1,000 tender things to my dear little brother, merely to please your grandfather?
I was confused in all the excitement. I wasn't sure.
Madame Solar, may I suggest that whatever the excitement, one might normally expect a sister to recognize her own brother.
Perhaps. But a deaf mute is not a normal sort of brother to have.
Mademoiselle de Solar, I ask you as a Christian to look into your soul. And tell me what in your heart you know to be the truth. That this is your brother.
No, he isn't. He is not my brother. My brother is dead.
Mademoiselle de Solar, how would you describe your feelings towards your brother when you were both children?
He made me feel terribly helpless. There seemed to be nothing I could do for him.
And when you heard that he'd died at Cholat, what did you feel then?
Relief. In some ways, I felt it was the best thing that could happen. What kind of life could he ever have? What kind of future was there for him?
And when this deaf-mute boy appeared, claiming to be your brother?
At first I was glad, naturally. But then I had doubts. I felt sure it wasn't him. You can tell, little things, you can tell they just weren't right. It's a fraud. The whole thing, it's a lie.
And what is your relationship with the accused man, Cazot?
He has been our family lawyer for some years, sir, and serves me as a confidential clerk.
Nothing more.
Nothing more.
Mademoiselle de Solar, this boy who stands before you in court today, is he your brother?
No, sir. He is not.
It was in the autumn of that year. I was planning to accompany my mother to take the spa waters at Bagnères, and the Countess asked if I would kindly take her son as well. I had been her legal advisor for a number of years, and I knew the boy well. He was a deaf-mute, and she had been desperate to find a cure for him, so naturally I agreed. We left Luz on the 4th of December and spent a fortnight at Bagnères taking the water every day, and then went to my mother's house at Charlin. But unknown to us, there had been a smallpox outbreak in the area, and the boy became infected. Everything possible was done to save him. I myself sat by his bedside day and night at great risk to my own health. But it was all useless. His condition just got worse and worse, and eventually he died. He was buried in our family tomb at Charlin. I can provide firm and positive proof of all these facts. The Count of Solar is dead. The boy who stands before you now is an impostor.
I've only one question to ask you, Monsieur Cazot. You are, I take it, absolutely certain about the dates on which you left Toulouse. It was, I think you said, the 4th of December. Now, you're sure of that? The 4th?
Absolutely sure. And there are dozens of witnesses to prove it.
Thank you, Monsieur Cazot.
Well, you will forgive me if I seem to struggle with some small legal points in your testimony, which to you, no doubt, will seem obvious and clear. Of course, as a lawyer, you will be familiar with the proper form of legal documents, such thing as deeds and wills and the like.
Yes, sir.
Yes. You have there the parish burial record, which refers to a person who was allegedly buried in the cemetery at Charlin. Now, I ask you, as a lawyer, does that entry seem to conform with the proper requirements of such a document?
I can...
You see, there are no names. No Christian name, no family name. No dates. No signatures of any witnesses. Now, I ask you, sir, as a lawyer, what value do you think we should attach to such a document?
I can explain all this. The child was a stranger in the area. No one but myself knew his name, his age, or anything. And while I was too ill at the time, all this was obviously added later.
Later? I suppose you mean that scrawl at the bottom, which I must confess I find practically indecipherable.
Or perhaps the Abbey would like it translated into sign language.
A child aged about 10 or 11 years, who was dumb and who was called the Count of Solar.
I'm indebted to you, sir. Who do you think added these convenient words to the document?
That I don't know.
Well, yet you've already told us that you were the only person who could provide details of his identity. When do you think these convenient words were added to the document? Monsieur Cazot, you seem to have some difficulty in answering. Then let me make myself clear. Were these words added before or after your arrest?
This is all fantasy. Don't be taken in. The boy's a liar!
Dr. Gao, I believe you have examined the tomb at Charlin.
I have.
And will you tell us what you found?
The skeleton of a child of about 11 years old. Unfortunately, the pubic bones were missing, so I cannot say with certainty whether it was a boy or a girl.
Was there anything else which might help identify the body?
Yes. Here, in the skull, do you see? This indentation in the right half of the lower jaw testifies to the existence of an extra tooth. And searching inside the coffin, we found this. There. You see?
the extra tooth of the Count of Solar.
You there, come here. Is this the boy? Is this the Count of Solar?
My lord.
Come on, answer. Is it him or not?
Yes, sir.
My lord, I must...
Silence, Monsieur l'Abbé, or I shall order you from the room. Now, you are sure?
Yes, sir.
And you, what do you say? Is this the Count?
I think so, sir. I think it's him.
Would you swear to it?
Yes, sir.
And what about this boy? This boy is then not the Count of Solar.
No, sir. I don't know, sir.
Well, if he is who he claims to be, he should be able to describe the house to us. Can he tell us what lies through there?
Through those doors, he says, are the kitchens.
And through there?
That's the drawing room.
And behind those doors?
That's the dining room.
And does the cat claim to have a title too?
What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here.
My lords, you have heard the evidence.
You know, this case is not about teeth or dates, or even a disputed title. The boy that stands before you here is not merely a dispossessed individual. He is a representative, a symbol of a whole class of the forgotten and despised. Abandoned, abused. You see, his story is a sort of parable of the fate of so many of his deaf brothers and sisters who are shut out from the warmth of human love, excommunicated from the light of
human knowledge, denied the comfort of the divine sacraments. They are truly the dispossessed. The moral truth of this case shines out as clear as our Lord's commandment to suffer the little children to come unto him. I ask you to suffer this child to come into his birthright. For by upholding his claim, you will not only right a monstrous evil, but you will hold up the light of hope to so many of his deaf brothers and sisters who suffer the torments of brutality and neglect. My lords, do not, I beg you, when you consider your verdict as to the innocence or guilt of Monsieur Cazot, allow justice to be swallowed up in legal quibbles when the living proof stands before you with all the mute eloquence that silence can command. It is in your gift to make that silence speak.
Lord, before I begin, I would like to pay a personal tribute to my opponent in this case, the Abbé de l'Épée. His eloquence, I must confess, has moved me, as I am sure it has touched the hearts of many in this court. So in what I'm about to say, I should not in any way wish to detract from the value of his work and purpose. He's asked you not to be misled by quibbles. But what he calls quibbles, I call evidence. This is a court, not a church. Now, in church, one may be moved by the Spirit which passeth all understanding. But in court, one is bound by the rules of evidence. My lord, this case is not about the suffering of death, but about identity and the rights of inheritance. What is at stake is a title, an estate, and a man's life. Now, whatever rights this boy has to education and human sympathy, the Abbé has completely failed to show that he has any rights to the title of the Count of Solar. We have the testimony of Mademoiselle de Solar. There is the evidence of the extra tooth found in the tomb at Charlat. And perhaps, most important of all, there is the matter of the dates. Now, we are assured that this boy was found wandering in Picardy on December the 2nd. And yet, the young Count of Solar was seen leaving Toulouse by more than a score of witnesses on December the 4th. Now, I do not believe that even the ingenuities of the manual alphabet could put a boy in two places 500 miles apart at the same time. My lords, these are not quibbles, but firm, incontrovertible facts. This boy is not the Count of Solar. My client, Monsieur Cazot, is innocent. I ask you to find in his safe.
We have reviewed all the evidence and submissions in the case and have arrived at our verdict as follows. With respect to the deaf-mute boy known as Joseph, we uphold that he is the true Count of Solar, and we hereby forbid all others to interfere with his titles or estates in any manner or degree. With respect to the accused, Cazot. We find the evidence against him inconclusive and contradictory. We therefore declare him innocent of any crime and discharge him from the court.
Well, I suppose half a verdict is better than none.
It doesn't make any sense.
They shot in prison.
Yes, but not out of suspicion. It's not enough. If you think I am going to give in to all that hand-waving, I'll fight it.
Brought young children to him that he should touch them, and his disciples rebuked those that brought them. But when Jesus saw it, he was much displeased and said unto them, Suffer the little children to come unto me, and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of God.
Tired.
Don't fuss, don't...
It's time you took more care of yourself.
You know he's planning to marry the girl,
Who's that?
Monsieur Cazot. Never gives up, does he? Started with his lawyer, these months and months and months. He intends marrying the Solar girl. No doubt he thinks it will help with his appeal. What's that noise?
Don't worry, it's only the boys. They'll soon settle down.
What, at this time?
Just high spirits.
Well, where is it? Where's it coming from? Joseph? That's Joseph. Joseph? Monsieur le Comte. Some signs you will have to learn for yourself. Very good, very good. Hmm?
I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh even from the Lord, who hath made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved, and he that keepeth thee will not sleep. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord himself is thy keeper. The Lord is thy defense upon thy right hand, so that the sun shall not burn thee by day, neither the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. Yea, it is even.